Hey guys, so I know that last video meeting that we had together was a little bit confusing on how to make the teacup, so I'm here to kind of simplify it and show you guys how to do it all in one shot. So if you didn't already know, this is what we're going to be making, this little teacup, and I modeled it after this picture over here. Alright, so if you haven't already, go to Tinkercad and create a new design. Click create a new design and get a new workspace. And before we do anything, I'm going to move my face. Before we do anything, we want to change some of our settings. So we're going to just click here, edit grid on the bottom right corner. And I'm going to change my units to inches. And that's very important because all these measurements I'm giving you guys are going to be in inches. Gonna move my face back. All right. So to start off, I'm going to go on the right hand side and I'm going to bring in a sphere. And I'm going to change the dimensions of this sphere. I'm going to make it a 3 by 3 by 3. So if you don't already know, 3 by 3 by 3 means 3 for the width, 3 for the length, and then 3 as well for the height. So this is my sphere. And I'm going to go ahead and change a little bit some of the settings. So it only has one setting, and I'm going to turn this, it's called steps, and I'm going to turn this all the way to its max, which is 24. And steps, all that means is how many polygons make it up, and that's basically how many faces. So as I increase the steps, it adds more and more and more faces. So I'm gonna just make that the highest to keep our model smooth. And now I'm going to bring out a box. So I'm gonna bring out a box, and I'm gonna change the dimensions of this box. I'm going to make this box a 3 by 3 by 1.25. So 3 for the width, 3 for the length, and for the height, I'm going to make it a 1.25. And click enter. And now I'm going to move this box up, and I'm actually in my perspective view, and I should be in orthographic. And that's an example of why, because this is perspective, and it's not really letting me see the flat view. So I'm going to click orthographic. I am going to move the box up approximately. I'm going to move the box up, and then I'm going to type in 1.75, and that's how much I'm going to move it up. Now I'm going to select both of these objects, go up to the top right corner, click align, or you can press L on your keyboard. I'm going to click the circle again, and then I'm going to click center for the width, and I'm going to click the center for the length. And now the circle and the box should be perfectly centered to each other. Alright, now I'm going to click on the box. I'm going to make it a hole. I'm going to click up here and make it a hole. And I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to click group. So now we've taken off the top part, but we still need to hollow this out and make it an actual cup. So in order to do that, I'm going to bring out another sphere. I'm going to change the dimensions of this sphere, and you can actually change the color to make it a little more easier to see and differentiate. I'm going to make it green, and I'm going to change the dimensions. I'm going to make it a 1.75, that should be 2.75, and then the other one should be 2.75 as well, and the height should also be 2.75. I'm going to increase the steps to 24 like I did the last one up here. And now I'm going to select these two. I'm going to click align. I'm going to click on the blue one again. I'm going to center it with the width, turn, and center it on the length. And now it's almost fully centered, but I need to move this one up. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to actually first go on my front view, click on it. I'm going to move it up a little bit, then type in the box. I'm going to type 0.125 and click enter. And now it is fully centered. So now I can turn this to a hole, the one on the inside, to a hole, select both of them, and I'm going to click group. And when I group them, I should have this nice hollowed cup sort of shape. Alright, so we've pretty much made the cup. Now we just need to make the bottom part and the handle. So for the bottom part, I'm going to bring out a cylinder, and I'm going to change the dimensions of this cylinder. I'm going to change it to a 2x2. So 2x2. And this last dimension, the height, doesn't really matter. I'm going to keep mine as 1. And now to make this smooth, I'm going to increase the sides. I'm going to bevel it just a little bit. And what a bevel does is it kind of adds an extra edge. So I'm going to bevel just a little bit because I don't want too much of a bevel. And so if you can see on the top and the bottom, it's adding that bevel. So that's what the bevel does. So that looks good. And then on this last segments, I'm going to make this max. So I'm going to crease it all the way. And I'm just going to add a little more of a bevel. And I think that's good. So adding the bevel in the segments, that's a preference. That's just how I like it. You don't have to do it that way. And now I'm going to select both of these objects, and I'm going to align. So I'm going to click on this again. So sorry, first I'm going to click align. Then I'm going to click on the cup again. And I'm going to click on the center for the width, and I'm going to click on the center for the length. Alright, now we have this shape. So I'm going to bring mine up a little bit just because I don't think it's that far down. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to bring it up, and then type in the box. I'm going to type 0.125 or 1/8. Alright, so I like that shape, except we are running into a couple of problems. So we have two problems here. We have, if we were to combine this, and I'll actually show you, if we were to combine this right now, we would have two problems that we'd run into. First of all, we'd have this extra material on the bottom, and we need this to be flat. And second of all, we have some stuff here on the inside, part of this the cylinder, that doesn't need to be there. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. And to fix that, I'm going to click on work plane, and I'm going to go on the bottom. So I'm just going to go on the bottom, and then I'm going to click work plane, and then I'm going to click on this surface. So I'm just going to click on this surface, and I'm still working on the bottom. I'm going to drag out a box, and I'm just going to look at the top now. And I'm going to drag out this box, and it doesn't matter how big it is as long as it covers the entire bottom. So now I'm going to click on work plane again, and then come back. So I just came back to my work plane, and I'm going to click on this box. So I'm going to click on this box, click on hole to make this a hole, and then I'm going to select both of them and click on group. So now if you look, we don't have that extra small edge anymore. It's gone. Now this is a flat surface, but we still have this part on the inside. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click on this object. I'm going to click ungroup, and ungroup literally ungroups objects that you've grouped previously. So if I click ungroup, I'm going to see everything that I've grouped before. So I'm going to keep on clicking ungroup, and you have to click it multiple times, and then you're going to see every object that you ever created, just like that. And now if I were to select everything, I'm going to click on my front view and select everything, and then click on group, I shouldn't see that anymore on the inside. And the reason that happens is because originally when I cut out this shape, I had a little small sphere on the inside to give this a thickness, and that small sphere cut out everything on the inside. So when I ungrouped everything and I grouped it all together again, it took out that cylinder that we had that was on the inside, just all together. So now I have this shape, and all that's left to do is add the handle. So I'm going to go to the right, go to basic shapes, scroll down until I see the tube. So I'm going to drag out this tube. Alright, I'm going to look at my top view, and I'm going to change the dimensions of this tube. So I'm going to click on one of the corners, one of the white corners. I'm going to make the width 1.25, and I'm going to make the length 1.75. And of course you can go ahead and change it and customize it how you want. I'm going to keep the radius 0.5. I'm going to make the sides, I'm going to make the sides max. And for this I'm actually going to, and for sides, that's the exact same thing that I said before. It's how many polygons make up the object. So I'm going to make this max. For bevel, I'm going to add a slight bevel, not too much. And then I'm going to create, I'm going to make this max, the bevel segments max. I'm going to max mine out as 10. And you can increase the bevel however you like it. I think mine is fine like this. And so now I am going to click on right, click on the handle that I just made, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. So I'm going to type in 90 and click enter. Then I'm going to go back to my front view, click on this, and I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to rotate mine about negative 70 degrees because I think that's the number I like, and you can of course change it. And make sure your number is not positive, because if I were to do a positive number, so if I were to make it just 70, it would go forward. And if I were to put that on the keychain, sorry, not on the keychain, on the cup, it would kind of look like this. And if we go back to our picture, the handle is pointing upward. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to make this negative. So I'm going to make this negative 70. And I have a shape that looks like this. Now I'm going to select both the cup and the handle. I'm going to go up to a line. I'm going to click on the cup again. I'm going to center it on the width and center it on the length and the height as well. And you might have to click on front view and center it on the height. I'm going to click out so the dots disappear, and I should have something like this. The handle inside the cup. But we don't need it inside the cup, we need it out of the cup. So we're going to click on top view, click on the handle, and I'm going to just move the handle. And when I move it, you kind of see two different numbers. And so for this first number, for the first arrow that's pointing down, I'm going to make this number 0 because we don't want to move it to the left or to the right. Now this number, I'm just going to start off with, I'm going to say 2. And then I'm going to click enter. And that number doesn't really matter because we're going to move it again right now. So I'm going to go back to my front view. And now I'm going to just position it how best I see it, how I see it best. And I'm just going to move it up and move it to the left just to kind of get that shape that we're going for. And this is a completely customizable step, so there's no real units or measurements to go off from here. Alright, I think that looks good. Maybe a little more this way. Okay, looks good. And now I'm going to combine these, but we're going to run into another problem when we combine these. So if I were to combine this right now, we would have this the handle protruding into our cup, and we don't want that. So how we're going to do that is I'm going to click on the cup, and we're going to do the exact same thing when we added the little cylinder at the bottom. So I'm going to keep on clicking this button. So what I just did, that kind of happened a little fast, was I clicked on the cup, then I went up to ungroup, and I'm going to keep on clicking ungroup until I see all my objects, or until it shows this, so until it doesn't let me select it anymore. And now I should see everything that I created, all the objects I created. And I'm going to go back to front view. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to select everything, and then I'm going to click group. And now when I group everything, I should see that on the inside that the handle is no longer protruding out. And I should have a little cup like this. And that's pretty much how you make your cup. And don't forget to change the name up here on the left, and I'm just going to change mine to teacup. I'll name it teacup. Enter. And there's your cup. So that's how you make a cup. And don't forget, the challenge this week is to customize the cup. So I want you guys to maybe try to add your name on the cup or a little cool design, or maybe like a heart or something. However you want to design it, and we're going to share our designs next week. So make sure you guys stay safe and have a good time.